Hey guys, Sean Little with Vapor Trail Tactical. Just coming today. Sorry, I'm kind of holding my phone today. So coming today and did a recent law enforcement precision rifle class, and everybody was shooting the Remington match ammunition, 168 grain, and we chronographed this ammunition, and the numbers weren't that great. And this isn't a ding on Remington. This is just kind of one of the things that happens. The ammo didn't perform super poorly. Out of the guns, most of the guys had Remingtons or some form of a Remington factory type rifle or even a custom type rifle. So the guns shot the ammo very well. The ammo didn't perform badly. It's just that the numbers were not that great. And that's kind of one of the things is you can get good numbers out of ammunition and get it to perform badly as far as accuracy and groupings. And then you get the exact opposite where you get great numbers and you can't get it to group where the crap. So it just depends on what you're doing. So the test is going to be that I'm going to go out and go shoot 5 rounds out of the LaRue and test and chronograph the actual ammo the way it sits. And then we're going to take the rest of the ammunition and try to rebuild it and see if we can't get some better results. So we're only talking, 5 or 6 rounds, chronograph and everything, get the numbers, and then take the rest of the ammo, rebuild. I've got 12 rounds out of this box, so I'm going to do 6 and 6 and just kind of rebuild it and then go back out and shoot it and see if we get better numbers and better results. So, or we could get better numbers and worse results. But it's just kind of an experiment. It's not a ding on Remington. The ammo performed just fine. It didn't have any, the guns grouped it just well. And so not a ding on Remington. We're just doing a little experimentation since kind of got that phenomenon of the ammo didn't chronograph very well. And then, but the performance was decent. So we'll see what we get out of this. All right, so I've already taken some measurements with this ammunition. The overall length of the projectiles is not too bad. It's probably plus or minus 2.5 thousandths on overall length to the ogive, which is your curvature of your bullet right there. It's not tip to base. It's to the curvature of the bullet where they would meet the lands and grooves. So I've measured that. It's within spec, but kind of the other thing that I get is weight difference. So when I weigh the overall weight or the cartridge, is that we're getting some extreme stuff. So 84.4, right there. And then I got, take out of this one, let's see what this one is. 80, so almost a 5 grain difference out of overall projectile weight. So not that that's a big deal, but it definitely tends to show that we're gonna have some differences in powder charges and bullet weights and case weights and things like that. So, and then the overall condition of the cases is a little bit of, you guys can see that, a little bit of just tarnishing and corroding. So the cases, for this being law enforcement duty ammunition, is not in great condition. And there was various agencies that were using the same ammo, and the ammo looked about to be in the same condition. So a little disappointed in the condition of the ammunition. Didn't really seem to have any kind of a good coating system or anything to keep it from tarnishing and corroding. So we'll see what we get when we start tearing these things apart. All right, so I got 12 rounds left out of this box. I'm going to fire 6 and chronograph them. The other 6 I'm going to tear down and see what the components weigh, the different powder charges and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what we get out of that. Also, we'll see what the variances in powder charges are, because typically we'll get half to full grain powder weight difference. So we'll narrow that down whenever we rebuild these cartridges. So let's get started tearing them down and see what our weights are. All right, so one of the other things I'm going to check is headspace. So I've got my RCBS headspace gauge here, precision mic headspace gauge, and so I got 6.5 thousandths right there. So that's the measurement from the base to the shoulder. Your headspace is pretty critical to extraction and things like that. So we got 8 thousandths on that one. A little extreme on that one. That's pretty extreme. Have 8 thousandths headspace. Ideally, you want 3 or 4 thousandths. Maximum of 5 thousandths. We got 6 thousandths. I'll put 5 thousandths headspace in my cases, but I don't want anything over 5 thousandths headspace on my cases. So that one's 7. All right, so we've got over 5 thousandths. The reason why they do over is because they want it to be able to feed in just about any weapon system they put it in. Tight chamber, not tight chamber, but even a tight chamber is not going to have that kind of headspace kind of issues anyway. So I don't know why they bump them back so much, but they're just trying to ensure that cases are going to come out of the gun. Again, 7 thousandths. So around 7 or 8 thousandths is pretty much what I'm getting right here. It's consistent, so that's what you can really hope for, is some sort of consistency. If I got something really extreme, I'd be concerned, but nothing super extreme. It's a little excessive, but nothing outside of the normal for what most people are doing. All right, so I got my handy dandy RCBS bullet puller. I'm going to pull rounds, so I'll pull 6 of them. We'll measure the cases, case weight, all that stuff. And then with the primer in it, I'm not going to take the primer out yet. And then we'll do the powder charge, and we'll see where we're at once to do that. All right, so I got the first round taken apart, and Remington is using a very fine spherical powder. We'll see what the charge weight is, and then I'll dump this in here. There we go. Pull that in there. All right, so they're using 43 grains, approximately 43 grains of whatever their spherical powder is. Not a big deal. I'm gonna put this back in the case real quick. So 43.1 is what I got for the first one. Put this back in there. All right, so I got 3 down. I just did the 4th, and I've gotten 43.1, 43.2, 43.0, and now I've gotten 43.4. So initially with a plus or minus of 0.1, that's reasonable. But if you're getting 43 to 43.4 grains of powder, that's excessive. So it'll be interesting to see if we even out the powder charges, if that's going to do anything for the numbers. So we may resize the cases and do case neck tension. I don't know what they put on for case neck tension, but we may resize the cases and completely redo everything. But a 0.4 grain difference is plus or minus 0.1, not that big of a deal. But if you're getting into plus or minus a 0.2 or greater, then definitely got problems, according to the internet, which we'll see. Maybe we could just even out the powder charges and see what we get. But according to the internet, according to those who know things about reloading and stuff, 43.4 is excessive. So we'll see. We'll take it out of the range. We'll find out in the next couple of days what it's going to be like. All right, so pulled 6 rounds of the Remington ammunition. This is 168 grain. They're using Sierra Match Kings. The bolts all weighed out pretty well. Headspace is a little excessive. Overall lengths are really good, but the powder charges are within half a grain. So I got anywhere from 42.9 to 43.4, so that's fairly significant, especially within 6 rounds. I'm going to go ahead and run these through the sizing die. Don't have a big variance in neck tension, but typically pulling the bullets and trying to redo everything doesn't really ever work out. So I'm going to go ahead and run them through the sizer die. I've got a 336 bushing in the die right now, so that should take it down. And then I'll chamfer the case mouth openings, which is not done on these. And then I'll reset everything up for 43 grains. I'll make sure everything's even at 43 grains across the board for all 6. And then we'll get them reloaded and set back up. We'll do the original overall length too. So once I run them through the sizer die, I'll double check the headspace to make sure the headspace didn't get bumped back even further, which it shouldn't. But we'll double check everything whenever we get them all loaded back up and see how it works out. All right, so I got them resized. We're gonna put the Remington primers back in. I like Remington primers, they're good primers. So put everything back together. We'll even out the powder charges to 43.0 even, and we'll see what happens if we get any kind of a difference. All right, so got all 6 reloaded, powders evened out. I got just a tiny little bit left over, probably about 1 or 2/10 of a grain worth of powder left over, fine extruded powder. So just a 1/10, maybe 2/10 left over, but overall all evened out to exactly 43 grains in each one. So all 6 have 43 grains. We'll seat the bullets, get everything set back up, and we'll mark them so that we know which ones are which, from the factory ammunition to the reconfigured ammunition, see what we get for results. Be an interesting test. I think it's very doable, and it'll show some marked results. All right, so they're all loaded back up. Overall lengths are within plus or minus 1/1000. So, and then we'll double check headspace. I don't think headspace moved at all, but so I got 6 factory Remington Premier match, and then I reconfigured these others to even out the powder charge, and I did resize the necks, but it shouldn't really have any significant change to the actual results. What we're really looking for is a change in the numbers. Accuracy wise, I don't think we're going to get much of a change. If we do, that'll be good if we get better results, but the only thing that would make this a bust is if my Remington ones wind up chronographing. But based off of what I've already done with the PD guys and then with my own, I don't think that's going to be the case. So we'll take them to the range, see how they pan out.